So you're having an amber ale that you brewed. So you just started brewing like after you guys moved into the new place and you got the not after you moved because you moved before you got married. It was like a wedding gift,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, it was. It was a wedding gift I got from a friend. So I've always been interested in brewing, and so I added just like a small starter kit to our wedding registry. Obviously, got that, and yeah, did a couple batches at our old place, and
Somebody
now
got
done
you
a
a
few.
cauldron.
It's a slightly fancier cauldron, mind you. But yeah, it's basically just a tub. That's more or less what it is, and it came with like some starter ingredients and a couple things. And since then, I've just been buying like refills for recipes. And yeah, as you pointed out, what I'm drinking is an amber ale that I brewed, which I don't know how well the color comes off in the video
Other
stream,
way.
but it's
Other way.
yep, there we go.
There you
I
go.
have two screens. There you go. But it's like basically just black, which is not the color that an amber ale is supposed to be. But it
It's
tastes
like
good.
it's like piss. Like, oh, this should be lighter.
Never thought of it that way, but yeah.
So it doesn't come with like a still. It doesn't have any like a big copper thing that's gonna make you go blind eventually.
No. Yeah, literally just like a plastic like fermenter and like for so most of what I've been doing is extract brewing, which is very simple. Basically like the wort, the main like hardest part to make is already pre-made for you. So basically I just use regular kitchen tools like get that um in a state where it's ready to be fermented and put in the fermenter. It's not as hard,
Do,
although
do you have to get like
recently I
do you have to get like the brand name like startup stuff, or can you kind of like DIY it at home?
You could just DIY it. So I've been there's a store or website called Mr. Beer where they just sell like wholesale ingredients, and it's obviously for a smaller scale. Like no, like real brewery is going to do it. It's intended for people who are like small little home brewing things. But yeah, I just buy ingredients from them. I've bought from full recipe lists. I've bought just some random components. Like for instance, the next thing we're going to brew is a stout that I just bought some cacao nibs to add into the recipe, just because chocolate is going to work well in that.
They is it essentially like always just hops and then you add something else to kind of like change it up? I have absolutely no idea how the brewing thing works.
Yeah, so basically, four main ingredients of beer: water, yeast, grains, and hops. Essentially, like what I've been doing, like I said, the extract brewing, they basically take all they have all the grains all processed already and the hops included in for some of them, although I've also bought my own hops to add in addition to those that come with extract.
Hmm.
So basically get the hops in the grains. Basically that's what becomes the wort, and you mix it in with the water and you basically ferment the water and the wort with in the fermenter. The yeast you add in, it's just what actively ferments it from like just
So like
a
what
chemistry.
distinguishes it from like grain alcohol, like liquors? Is it just like the concentration of like yeast, the amount of time you ferment it? Because you don't just like add like ethanol or anything to it. You just like
No, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I do know that
could you use your
beer
brewing
and
setup? Could you use your brewing setup for like hard alcohol?
probably not, although I haven't looked into it. I do know that most liquor is made differently, but whiskey is actually made with a similar wort process, which obviously is different ingredients and different
Hmm.
process. But at the very least, I imagine that it'd be conceivable to do whiskey
Hmm.
with some beer setup material.
Yeah, my drink is the appropriate color for what it is.
Piss?
No, it's green.
Oh, I
So it's the
oh,
Hulk's piss.
that was yellow. What are you drinking?
Absinthe. Can you guess what
Oh,
brand it is?
cheap brand? I don't know any brands of absinthe.
It's absinthe. Absinthe brand absinthe. For when you want to drink absinthe. Need a drink of absinthe? Try absinthe.
Man, if you see something at the store that says like vodka, that's kind of just the equivalent of what I'm thinking. Or just like in
Hey,
TV shows, if they had the labels for like Budweiser or something, be like beer on the can.
you bought a thing from a place called Mr. Beer.
You're not wrong.
Want to
At
know
least
why they call me Mr. Beer? It's because my dad was an alcoholic and he left my family. And my mom was spiteful. I actually have had beer brand beer. I think it was at a.
yeah, I think you told me that once.
I think it was at like a.